Welcome back to another episode of DAS, Death After Sports, with your boy Sean Mack. Thanks for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And today we're going to be discussing the father of the late great Dale Earnhardt and the grandfather of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ralph Earnhardt. As I stated in the last video, I'm originally from deep down south, New Orleans to be exact. And one thing we love in the South, our guns, our religion, and NASCAR. So I'm doing this video on Ralph Earnhardt because someone in the comment section of my last video I did on Dale Earnhardt, they mentioned Dale Earnhardt's father. And that's one thing I didn't know. I was a kid when Dale was racing back in the 80s. So I didn't know anything about Dale Earnhardt's father. That got me interested. So I looked up Dale Earnhardt and I was like, his father, Ralph Earnhardt. And I was like, let me give him some praise. Let me give him some props. He laid a lot down for NASCAR back in the days. He would even help people with their cars, and he raced against them. That's a true friend. So after learning what he did in NASCAR and how much he was a part of NASCAR, becoming what NASCAR has become now, I like to call him the Godfather of NASCAR. So remember, if you like today's content, make sure you share, like, and subscribe to the video. So let's go. Ralph Lee Earnhardt, born February 23, 1928, and left this spinning ball September 26, 1973. Ralph began racing in 1949, and in 1953 it became his full-time occupation. Ralph got his start in racing when he was asked to help build an engine for a local driver. Quote, "A boy in Kannapolis wanted me to help him build a racing engine. When we finished it, I got in, revved it up, and took off. The man who owned the car, a 1934 Ford Coupe, offered me a chance to drive it. I ran third in the heat race for the first time. I got on the track, then won the consolation, and finished fourth in the main event." End quote. An early mentor of Earnhardt was Red Voigt, who helped him get a good engine and gave advice. Ralph Earnhardt finished second in the 1955 NASCAR Sportsman National Standings, behind Billy Myers. In 1956, Earnhardt won the Sportsman National Championship, having won 34 of his 76 starts that year. Ralph made his NASCAR Grand National debut at Hickory in November of 1956. He was serving as a replacement for Fireball Roberts, who was committed to racing in the Grand National event at Willow Springs International Motorsports Park on the same day. Earnhardt won the pole position as the race's fastest qualifier in his debut, but trailed Speedy Thompson for much of the event. On the final lap, the flagman incorrectly waved the white flag for Earnhardt, showing him as the leader, before being corrected by a fellow scorer. This created chaos and confusion, where the crowd thought Earnhardt was the race leader and was outraged when Speedy Thompson was declared the winner and Earnhardt in second. As Earnhardt competed at the track weekly, the crowd erupted into a near riot as it was believed the popular driver had been robbed of a win in his Grand National debut, so the bottles were being thrown onto the track, before Earnhardt addressed the crowd by microphone and declared that he was satisfied with the scoring explanation. As a result of his performance at Hickory, Earnhardt received an offer from Holman Moody, Ford factory-backed team, to run on the Grand National Circuit in 1957. Earnhardt turned down the offer, reportedly due to the travel involved, being away from his family, and the money he was making as a sportsman driver. In the middle of 1957, Earnhardt entered the Grand National competition, driving for Lee Petty Engineering, replacing the recently departed Tiny Ludd. In 8 starts for the team, Earnhardt's best finish was 7th at the Charlotte's Fairgrounds. Ralph Earnhardt finished second in the 1958 National Sportsman Championship standings, behind Ned Jarrett. In 1959, Earnhardt competed in NASCAR's new limited sports division, a division created to phase out the 1930s coupes from the sportsman racing. Earnhardt won over 60 races and claimed NASCAR's limited sportsman championship. Ralph Earnhardt was ahead of his time. He was the first car builder/driver to understand the use of the tire stagger, and unlike his competitors, he was meticulously prepared and had a fleet of 5 cars, 2 sportsman cars for the asphalt tracks, 2 sportsman cars for dirt tracks, and 1 modified car. He estimated that he made $9,000 in profit in 1959, over $95,000 in 2024, money being adjusted for inflation. Ralph won the Hickory Track Championship for the 5th time in 1959, winning 22 of 24 races he entered. At the end of the season, the track informed Ralph that he would no longer be able to race there, as his consistent winning affected track attendance. Quote, "That was a period of my great success," end quote. Earnhardt recalled in 1964. In 1960, Earnhardt repeated as NASCAR's limited sportsman champion and won 50 races that season. Ralph Earnhardt made his debut for the Cotton Owens team at the Atlanta 500 in March. He finished in 3rd place, but believed a scoring error cost him the victory. Quote, "I thought I won. Cotton said I won. Even the scorer said I won, but I didn't get the money. According to the tabulations, Bob Burdick finished first. I guess you just can't beat an educated pencil," end quote. Ralph Earnhardt drove an additional 33 Grand National races between 1962 and 1964 before returning to sportsman racing full-time. In 1967, he was the reigning South Carolina state champion and the track champion at Columbia Speedway and at Greensville-Pickens Speedway. In 1969, Earnhardt left NASCAR's competition and competed at the unsanctioned tracks of Metrolina and Concord. He had grown tired of driving to South Carolina and competing at tracks such as Columbia and Greenville-Pickens. Between 1969 and 1972, Earnhardt won 4 consecutive track championships at Metrolina and Concord. In 1972, he raced his son Dale Earnhardt at Metrolina Speedway in a race with cars from semi-mode and sportsman division. Earnhardt won 350 NASCAR races in different series. Health problems forced Earnhardt into partial retirement in 1973. While he was recovering, Stick Elliott drove Earnhardt's car and won several races. Earnhardt returned to driving in that summer and won a pair of races at Concord Speedway on June 23rd and July 7th. Ralph Earnhardt was hospitalized in early 1973 with heart problems. Dale Earnhardt later explained, quote, "Dad had been in the hospital with heart trouble, and his blood pressure was high, and he was on blood thinner pills and a special diet, but he had come home and was doing better. In fact, he had even been out to the race shop," end quote. Ralph Earnhardt died from a second heart attack on September 26, 1973 at the age of 45 in his kitchen in his house. Dale Earnhardt later said he had just got the house paid for and he had no bills on his racing equipment. He was gonna lay back and take it easy, and then he had another heart attack and he was gone. He had worked so hard. I think the racing and all of the hard work and worry caused the strain and the heart attack, end quote. Damn, can't believe he was just 45 when he passed away. But I'm gonna let you get on out of here. I won't keep you long. If you made it this far, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. And I just wanted to pay some homage and put a little spotlight on the father of Dale Earnhardt and the grandfather of Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ralph Earnhardt. Seemed like he was a good man by all accounts, but who knows? It's life. You never know. You only can go by what you see and what you read, right? So on that note, I've been Sean Mack, and this is Death After Sports. Ralph Earnhardt. Peace.